Good morning, everybody. We are going to get started. Good morning and welcome to the grand opening ceremony for the new Fisherman's Community Hospital. My name is Drew Grossman. You're applauding for my name or the hospital? No, I'm just kidding. My name is Drew Grossman, and I'm the CEO of Fisherman's Community Hospital and Mariners Hospital. Whether you're joining us in person or through our live stream, I thank you for being part of this celebration we are so happy to share with our community. And today marks yet another great milestone. It's 4 years to the day that Fisherman's Community Hospital joined the Baptist Health family. Before we proceed with this program, please join us for the invocation and welcome Reverend Renato Santos, the Assistant Vice President of Pastoral Care with Baptist Health.
Thank you, Drew, and good morning, everyone. This is a beautiful day, and rightly so. It's a bright moment for the community and for Fisherman's Hospital. As I thought about this moment, lots of memories came to me of 2017, after Meth of Irma and their efforts, lots of buses rolling down with employees for cleanup efforts and how this community came together to rebuild. A lot has happened since then, not just here, but around the world itself. The world has been upended, but we hold in tension always. That's part of the human experience. The blessings and the bounty, also the losses and the tragedy that we have. But what we know is through this community is that we can pick up from the ashes and we can lift up again and we can do it and we can do it better. But even as we celebrate today with reason to do so, we're also cognizant that many brothers and sisters from our community and Surfside today grieve loss. As we continue, we want to pause, and I would invite you to take a moment with me, a moment of silence as we honor those who have died and as we remember those who grieve today, and to pray silently if you lift your own prayer for those who need healing at this moment. So let's take a moment of silence. Amen. We're grateful for dreamers and planners and designers and builders. I like to say the hospitals are sacred spaces where people come to be healed, changed, and lives are transformed. And sometimes people find life again when they're on the brink. So as we continue today, as we recognize sacred space, because where God is and where people gather together, I call that sacred, and this is where we are right now. Let me invite you to join your hearts with mine, if you would, and I will lead us in a word of prayer. Loving God, shower your blessings on this new space where many will work and serve. We pray that it will be a place where communities built, where lives are edified, and where relationships made strong and healthy every day. Let it be a place where you will be honored through words and actions, a place that reflects your calling, your mission, and your purpose for Fisherman's, for Baptist Health, and for the community. We pray you bless not just the walls, but those who work here. Praying that you let them have cheerful hearts, peaceful minds, and strength to serve through their vocations. For wherever you are and wherever people gather, this is sacred and we honor it as such. May your spirit abide in every corner. May your presence be felt in every day. May your eternal blessing be upon this house. It is with deep gratitude in your holy name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend Santos. Brian Keeley, the CEO of Baptist Health South Florida, understood even before Baptist Health purchased this hospital how important it was to the people who live and visit here. He never wavered in the vision of what could be in the future. At this time, I'd like to introduce our CEO, Mr. Brian Keeley.
Good morning, everybody. First of all, I'd like to thank and welcome Drew to this community. He's only been here 4 months. Most of us been here like 30, 40 years or what have you. But Drew, that's the best decision we ever made. Thank you very much for you and your wife joining us. And Chaplain, thank you very much. The weather last night said it was going to be stormy and rainy today, and from your lips to God's ears, right? Thank you very much. And Mike Leonard said, these little glasses of water were being sold for $1. When it gets to about 90 degrees out here, they're about $10 over there. So we ask you to know. But anyway, thanks everybody. This is a momentous time for all of us. Time to celebrate something that's very, very special. And I also want to thank you for your trust in Baptist Health for us to allow us to take care of you, your families, and our community. I'm reflecting back 30 years when Hurricane Andrew hit, and that we were down at Homestead at the time. It flattened Homestead. I remember going down over there. It was a direct hit. It was going to go Miami hit Homestead. It was a Category 5. We got down there and I said, there's nothing left. And Homestead, as you recall, went from a population of 90 down to 10,000. And the dialogue then is maybe Homestead's gone. Maybe it's not going to happen. That's when we built the hospital down there. Was a renaissance. And I remember when we broke ground on it, there was always just blank land behind us. And after we finished up, hospitals, houses all over the place. And I go back 4 years over here to 2017 when Irma hit you folks, another major storm. And I think what it turned us, what we learned from the first situation was how we need to be more resilient and sustainable. And that's exactly what we do. Many people think in terms of decades and years and what have you. We think in terms of generations. We go out a long, long time. And that's the way we thought about this. So why did this happen? Everybody said, well, Baptist took the step. Let me tell you what, there's a groundswell of support from the people in this room, and a lot of the founders in this room were the ones that really made it happen. I can tell you it would never have happened unless you came to the table with us. So we're here to really recognize and thank you because you're the ones that made it all happen. So thank you very much. I'd like to now introduce Bo Bollinger, who is the new president of Baptist Health and the chief operating officer, who will be following me on my retirement next year. So Bo, go for it, man.
Good morning, everybody. I wanted to second Brian's comments about Drew. It's not easy to come into a new organization, meet everybody, hit the ground running like he has done, and he's done a really, really effective job. It's not easy to follow an iconic leader like Rick Freeberg either, but we got a good one here, and he's doing a great job. What a happy, wonderful occasion this is to look out at all the smiling faces and to think about 4 years ago, Hurricane Irma came rolling ashore and wreaked havoc on this community. But because of the incredible resilience and compassion of the staff that are here and the generosity of this community and mission-driven Baptist Health, we're able to display to the entire world what we can do down here in the Keys. This building is a complete testament to this community. The community that will serve, and it will be better and stronger than ever before, just like this hospital is. I'm going to talk a little bit about the hospital for a second. It's a completely modern, new, state-of-the-art facility, and we took pains to ensure that it's going to withstand future storms, which we know are eventually going to come. It's got the resources and technology so that the staff can absolutely be their best. And it's a compliment to the wonderful people that stuck it out down here in the Keys and took care of this community through thick and thin. A lot of planning went into building this new building, the technology and the capacity to withstand a Category 5 hurricane. We raised the ground on which the hospital sits to an elevation of 11 feet. It might be an island, the road might be underwater, but the hospital is going to be dry, and it exceeds every building code requirement. The pilings that the hospital sits on exceed those required by code. The structure of the building is precast, so it is stronger than regular block, and it's hardened concrete precast. The roof is also made of concrete to improve wind resistance. And we not only have one generator, but we have 2 generators in the eventuality of power outage. And we all know about power outages. So we hope we never need any of these things. We know that we will, but it's nice to know that Baptist Health and the community went above and beyond to protect Fisherman's Hospital for the future. So our goal as we serve these 4 counties as Baptist Health is to be here for people when they need our help. We want people to live the healthiest lives possible, and we have the highest standards and great physicians and staff to be able to accomplish this. As Brian mentioned, we could not have done any of this without the support of the community. A hospital is a basic building block of the community. This community knows it, and this community responded. We're extremely proud of what we have created, obviously with the smiles that we have on our faces. It's much more than a new strong building with advanced technology. It's a reflection and a permanent tribute to the extraordinary people who live and work in the Keys and are going to take care of the people that live here and come visit for the next 100 years. So congratulations to all of you. Congratulations, Drew. Back to you. Thank you.
Thank you again, Brian, and thank you, Bo. And now I'd like to acknowledge a number of special guests with us in the audience today. So please stand as I call your name. State Senator Ana Maria Rodriguez. Over there. There she is. Or you can wave. State Representative Jim Mooney. Marathon Mayor Luis Gonzalez. Marathon Council Member Steve Cook. Marathon Council Member John Bartis. Marathon Council Member Dan Zig. Marathon City Manager George Garrett. Key Colony Beach Mayor Ron Sutton. Key Colony Beach Vice Mayor Patricia Treffry. Key Colony Commissioner Catherine McAuliffe. Monroe County Commissioner David Rice. Monroe County Administrator Roman Gastesi. And Nicole Rapanos, who's the Deputy Chief of Staff for Congressman Carlos Jimenez. Thank you. This new hospital represents a true partnership between the community, which supported Fisherman's since its opening more than 60 years ago, and Baptist Health, which was determined to ensure high-quality healthcare remained accessible to all who live, work, and visit this area. While I am relatively new to this hospital, and again, I started back in February, I saw from the moment I arrived that this is a special place. The culture of Baptist Health and the spirit of everyone in the Keys have brought us to this point today. As you know, when Hurricane Irma devastated this area almost 4 years ago, it forced the original hospital to close permanently. In the chaotic days after the storm, it would have been hard to imagine where we find ourselves today. Initially, the focus was on survival and serving the immediate medical needs of this community, even if it meant working in tents and trailers in the parking lot. We could not celebrate this day without making special mention of those hospital employees and physicians who endured so much after the storm. They experienced their own displacement and devastation, yet they kept showing up. That is the key. They kept showing up. They worked in incredible, thank you. They worked in incredibly challenging circumstances and overcame obstacle after obstacle to make sure anyone who needed medical assistance could get it, and done so quickly. I would like to acknowledge 5 of these employees who have quite literally seen it all. So if you're here, please raise your hand. Robin Mern, celebrating 38 years. There she is back there. You gotta love this guy, Mike Mathias, 34 years. There he is. Jermaine Shannon, 26 years. Laura Arbuckle, 24 years. And Hugo Diaz, also 24 years. Following the hurricane and with the unparalleled dedication of our entire fishermen's team, it wasn't long before a vision emerged for the future of healthcare in the Middle Keys. Today, we see the realization of those dreams. I'd like to thank our Fishermen's Board of Directors, Jay Hershoff, our chairman, Jay. Our Vice Chair, Peter Chapman. Secretary, Bill Dickinson. And board members Jonathan Guevara, Mike Leonard, Leslie Ryan, Jim Rifkin, Janice Roll Anderson, and Jeffrey Smith for these tireless dedication to this facility. Thank you. And the Fishermen's Foundation Council, Chair Mike Leonard, Linda Coggins, Alexandra Kelly, Michael Carley, Jason Kohler, George Nugent, Jane Packard, Lindsay Robito Leonard, Donald Swadik, and Barbara Wright, for without whom this building would not have been built. Thank you. Our new hospital includes a 24/7 emergency center, operating room, endoscopy area, inpatient and observation rooms, imaging services such as ultrasound, 3D mammography, CT scans, and a space for chemotherapy infusions so patients don't have to travel for their cancer treatment. It also has a helipad for patients who need to be transferred for more advanced care. Thank you also to Nelson Architecture and Robbins and Morton for realizing our vision and constructing the building you see before you today. And to Fishermen's and Mariners Vice President of Professional Services, Candy Finke, and Vice President and Chief Nursing Officer, Cheryl Cottrell, for their monumental role you have played in opening these doors. Please raise your hands. They're right back there. They really worked hard with their crew and definitely earned it. By working together, we've created an amazing new facility, reimagined for the 21st century and built with the goal of withstanding future storms. This new hospital will meet the community's needs well into the future. Fishermen's Community Hospital would not be what it is without involvement from the community. We are fortunate to count as a friend and as the chair of the Fishermen's Board of Directors, Jay Hershoff, a longtime resident of the Keys and a community leader. Jay was instrumental in the purchase of Fishermen's by Baptist Health and has been a leader throughout the rebuilding process. At this time, I'd like to bring our chair up, Jay Hershoff.
Well, I didn't know there'd be anybody left in the audience to be recognized. So at least Drew's done most of it. Forgive me for sweating so much, but this is really sweat of happiness. I remember being over in the back some 3 years ago when we broke ground, and we all made speeches and we all talked about what it was going to look like in a few years. And to see it now, to see it being built, to see it being finished 4 months earlier than was scheduled, in spite of a pandemic. And everybody knows how difficult it is to build down here, is a testament to the people that Baptist Health South Florida uses to construct their hospitals, their facilities, and to do it right. And they've always done it right. And that's one of the reasons I got involved. I want you all to take a look at the name up here, Fishermen's Community Hospital. This could also just as easily be Fishermen's Community Investment Hospital, because this community has invested in this hospital, and this is your hospital more than any other community I've been involved with. So you all should be very, very proud that you not only stepped forward, but recognized how important it is for the success of your community, for your children, for your grandchildren, for everybody that wants to come and live here and thrive here, that we have a hospital as good as this hospital is and is going to be. And one other thing with respect to this hospital that makes me very proud, and Brian, I'm not even sure you know this, Bo knows it. This is a critical access hospital. It's essentially considered a rural hospital. And we believe that this is the first and only rural hospital that's been built in America in the last 15 or 20 years. Now, a lot of them have closed, but this is the only one that's been built. I want to just acknowledge a couple of people. Many of you have heard the story, a few have heard the story, but I feel it's worth repeating. When we were getting close to closing in July, 4 years ago to the day, as you heard, I made a phone call to Pete Chapman, who was then the community leader and was I think the chairman down here. I said, Pete, we've got 4 or 5 weeks to go till we close. You have enough money to keep the hospital open till Baptist can come in and close on July 1st? And Pete said to me, funny you should ask that question. We probably could use $1 million. And I said, well, we can't close the doors. We got to pay the nurses. We got to pay the vendors, and we have to keep the doors open. Let me make a phone call and see what I can do. So I called the then CFO, Ralph Lawson, my friend, and I said, Ralph, Pete Chapman called me and said, we need $1 million to keep the doors open until January. And Ralph's usually a lot more polite to me. And Ralph said, you're wrong, Jay. You don't need $1 million. You need $3 million. I said, what are we going to do? He said, give me a week to figure it out and we'll get the money. And Ralph got the money and we sent it down here. We kept the doors open. Ralph is now retired, but he's here. I've invited him to come. Would you stand up because the community owes you something too? Very proud of Ralph's career at Baptist and the great things that he's helped the organization accomplish in all those years. So enjoy your retirement, buddy. Okay? And thanks for the $3 million. We needed it. I also wanted to acknowledge, and I know he's on the board and you all know him, but honestly, I've been so blessed to be able to work with Jim and Janie to get this done. I have to tell you, as passionate as I am, and I think I am and have been, Jim and Janie have pushed me so hard to make sure we get things done and ideas. And I don't think that this building would be here without not only their generosity, but with everything they've done to become friends and to push me to be a better leader and to get things done. So Jim, Janie, from my heart, the community owes you as well. Thank you. I invited another special guest. We started this together many years ago, both up at Mariners Hospital, and then during the process down here, and that was our then CEO, now retired, Rick Freeberg. I've asked Rick if he wouldn't mind. Of course, he said, mind, I'm coming. If he would come down here, because he put everything into this and retired a few months ago, as you know, when Drew became chairman. And Rick's here, and I'm going to ask him to speak in just a minute. I just want to say one more thing. We've had it, Drew, over here. Can you just move a little bit? I want to point out, we have an easel here. This is a rendering. This rendering shows a medical arts building right next door here where the library used to be. We closed on the library last week and they handed the keys to Bo Bollinger. We now own the library. It's our dream, and it makes sense that we want to construct a medical arts building. We want to bring the doctors in to have great office space. We want the rehab. We want the cardiac, the pulmonary rehab, the telemedicine, whatever we need to do. We want it to be over here on campus right next to the hospital. So you'll see a rendering. Come take a look. And again, it's a rendering. It may not look exactly like that when it's done, but we're going to all get together and we're going to make an investment and we're going to build this medical arts building. That's the next thing on the agenda. We are not done. So with that, probably the shortest speech I've ever given for a lawyer. I'd like to ask the former CEO and my good friend, Rick Freeberg, to come speak.
All right. I won't include that in my thank yous. I'll wait till it happens. So anyhow, gosh, so much has been said already, and so much appreciation is owed to everybody here. And I am thrilled. I feel like this is birth of my new baby. I mean, this is seeing this done, having left before it was really completed. You know, it was mostly done, or a lot of it done when I left. And so coming back here now is just a real honor, a real privilege. And I appreciate being able to do that. And you know, yeah, it's all about Baptist Health and this community. So I'm going to be speaking very shortly, but I'm so grateful to be here and to celebrate. And every speaker I think so far has mentioned resiliency, and that's exactly right. It's incredible how this community, the employees here, the leadership have been extremely resilient. The opening of a new hospital, of course, represents a deep healing for this community because it was gone. And it's been 4 years. It was 4 years ago, actually last night at midnight, that me and a team of our leaders from Mariners and a lot of the employees who are here, and I, you know, I told myself, don't mention names because then I'll just run on for about a half an hour, and you don't want that. But there's so many people that we have to be grateful for, and we were in the front lobby of the old hospital at midnight and celebrated the new ownership of this hospital, and had no idea what was coming. A few months later, of course, if you've heard, Irma did its damage. And at the time, it was a little hard to think about this, but now looking back on it, I am so grateful for Irma. I mean, it was, and again, that's understandably difficult to say and appreciate that, but it was 4 years ago, and now look at what we've got. So anyhow, that is important. Our medical professionals, the physicians, the nurses, imaging techs, lab techs, respiratory, pharmacists, and others all wanted to come back to work after Irma. They were lining up to come and operate out of an old field hospital. We had assistance by administrators, registration clerks, building personnel, housekeeping, maintenance, food services, and IT, of course, was a big part of it. We had to get the computers up and running. We were really operating under a difficult situation. There was no computers yet. You know, having to do everything by paper, you know, the old-fashioned way, and nobody resisted. And the environment here is, most of you know, we were set up in tents and, you know, the asphalt parking lot and the, you know, from moving patients from the emergency room to have imaging. If it was raining, we were walking through puddles, and it was a miserable situation. And yet our staff, our physicians, our nurses, everybody persevered and worked through that. And that's a real pleasure. Well, it's a privilege, really, to be looking back and know who those people were and how often, you know, they did work. I do want to give a shout out to the first responders. We had an emergency room, but we had to transfer a lot of the patients that we couldn't see here and transfer them up north. And JJ, your crew did fantastic work for us there. So everyone persevered. Was not easy. We improvised when possible. We had a lot of work to do. And, but again, the team, the leadership, the staff here that stayed with us, and many of are still here, as you heard earlier. They stuck to it, and here we are. So the real heroes are those employees, the staff, the physicians, the first responders, everybody who has been here throughout this time, and now they're here. You're here to celebrate this opening. I know it's already opened, but celebrate this grand opening, I'll call it. And I can't say enough of how excited I am to see this state of the art too, actually, facility that actually is here now for us being the community to be able to take advantage of this facility. And we have thanked Baptist Health, of course, in general, for their support. It was a lot of fighting going on. Not fights, that's not quite the right word, but we'll say some disagreements that needed to be addressed. And everybody stuck with it. Jay and Baptist Health boards, and we ended up with this facility. So it's fantastic. And Drew, congratulations, man. I know I too have heard nothing but great things. I know you'll keep us onward and upward. Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you all.
Very, very happy to have Rick here. I want you all to know I spoke with Mayor Michelle Coldiron earlier in the week and had hoped that she could be here. She's in Orlando on government business. As you all know, Michelle was the mayor here in Marathon, was an incredible supporter when she was here. She's still a supporter now, wishes she could be here, but she's here in spirit. But we have a new mayor now, and he's been an incredible supporter. And I'd like to introduce you to the mayor, and I'm going to call him what everybody else calls him, Mayor Louis Gonzalez. Come speak.
Thank you, Mr. J. It is with a great pleasure to be here today. This is an extremely awesome occasion, not only for Baptist, but for our entire community. And it's been said a lot that 4 years to the day that Baptist organization took over the old Fisherman's Hospital, never envisioning what would come in those next 4 years. We went from the original building to a tent city after hurricane. From there, we went to the modular units, which served an incredible purpose. And now before us is a state-of-the-art hospital that we could be proud of, not only us, our grandkids and great-grandkids. And we owe that to everyone in this room. Thank you. On behalf of the city of Marathon, I would like to thank the Baptist organization for honoring their commitment to providing the best medical care possible. In addition, I would like to thank the Baptist Foundation and all of the Middle Keys residents that helped make this partnership a huge success. And I look forward to seeing this partnership continue into next door, Mr. Hershoff. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you again, Jay, Rick, and Mayor Gonzalez. So an energetic and creative fundraising campaign raised more than $16 million in donations to build this hospital. So many people worked so hard for so long. A great leader of Baptist Health Foundation efforts was Mike Leonard, chair of the Fisherman's Community Hospital Foundation Council. At this time, I'd like to introduce you to Mike Leonard.
They say I'm only allowed 2 minutes. Start the clock, Alex. I'm truly honored to be here today. Working with all of you to raise the funds for this project was truly one of the most rewarding things in my life. I got to see firsthand how this community could come together. It was inspirational for all of us. There were so many people from so many walks of life. that stepped up to the plate for us. Whether it was a big project, a small project, but they were all there for us every day as we hit our goal. And the fact that we exceeded our goal was even better. I mean, the work that everybody did is incredible, and it's all of you out there. When we first started this project, the city was hurting. Irma just destroyed the city, our homes, and our old Fisherman's Hospital. Residents were making repairs. Businesses were trying to open their doors, let alone do a sale. But you found a way to support us. You were there for us. I'll never forget it. I think this reflects on how important Fisherman's Hospital and this hospital has been to this community. Just, it's extraordinary what everybody in this room did. The other remarkable thing is how the campaign drew pioneers and descendants from pioneers to help build the original building. Mike Pudo, who's in the audience, grandfather, helped open this office open this hospital in 1962. Mike, take a stand, please. Mike's grandfather served as the first board president. Betty Chaplin, a lady that I love. Her parents actually built the hospital. Stand up, Betty. Where are you, Betty? There you are. Stand up, stand up. And Betty sold raffle tickets to get this hospital. This is the dedication we have here. This hospital was built for the community, by the community. And that spirit will live in perpetuity. I guarantee it. I'd like to extend my deep appreciation to everybody that worked on this. It was extraordinary. And Brian, I've said this a dozen times in my talks as we were raising money. I've never worked with an organization that is more ethical, more fantastic than Baptist Hospitals. I've been in business 56 years, and you guys are extraordinary. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. The new hospital shows all of us in this room what philanthropy can do. A little bit of kindness goes so far, and all of you made this happen. It's truly a remarkable thing. I hope you'll continue to support Fisherman's Hospital, because I'll be knocking on your door as we build the medical arts building back here. So just when you get the phone call from me, you can run. This is truly a magnificent day for my wife, Lindsay, for Jim Rifkin and Jane Packard, for Kim Gregory, for Baptist Hospital, for the City of Marathon, and for Fisherman's Hospital. Thank you very much.
Mike Leonard, that's one passionate guy. It's good. Good we have you. So finally, we've come to the moment you've all been waiting for, the ribbon cutting ceremony. As Mike Mathias, again, standing back there, raise your hand, Mike, there he is. Our beloved facility supervisor who has worked at Fisherman since 1970 said, that's not just a building, that's the future. You're right, Mike, it's the future. May all those who pass through these doors find hope, healing, and health. If you are watching the ceremony online today, please stay tuned at the end for a special video presentation. At this time, I'd like to invite Jay, Brian, Bo, Mike, Mayor Gonzalez, and Jim Rifkin to come up for the ceremony. Testing. I always test with 8675309. Some people get that. Younger generations have no idea. YouTube it. Anyways, that's the end of the ceremony. However, we have the water bars and everything, and we can mingle and still socialize. But thank you very much for coming today and attending. And here we are, the beautiful Fisherman's Community Hospital. Thank you.